We can go ahead and get started. And thank you again, everyone who's joined. My name is Cynthia Miller. I'm with Austin Water, and this is the Gillis Street Pipeline Renewal Project public meeting. We're here to talk about this project, and we hope you'll ask a lot of questions. So with no further ado, we can get started. So our agenda for tonight will be introductions. We've got key members of our project team here so that you can meet them. You'll get to spend some time with them over the next few months, and we'll give you an overview of the project, and then we'll take questions. And of course, at the end, make sure that you have our contact information. So if you'll hold on to questions till the end, that's probably the best way to proceed. So thank you. Yeah, I've introduced myself like 3 times now while we were getting started. So Matt, why don't you tell us who you are?
Yep. So I'm Matt Harold. I'm the Capital Delivery Services Project Manager for this project. Licensed engineer. I've been working in project management for 20 years now.
Okay, Tracy.
I'm Tracy Horn. I'm an engineer with Austin Water. I am the project sponsor. As a sponsor, I make sure the project is aligned with its goal at every stage. So very much from the beginning to the closeout.
And Saosin, would you like to wave and say hi?
Hello. Hello. My name's Ella Zhang. I'm the engineer of record for this project.
Okay, Jameson, where are you?
I'm right here. Good. My name is Jameson Smith. I'm with Capital Delivery Services. I'm the supervisor for engineering construction coordinators, and we're commonly known as the inspector. So I'm the supervisor. The inspector, Ramiro Hernandez, is out on vacation this week. So he's not going to be here, but he reports to me, and I'll be on site as well quite a bit throughout the duration.
Okay, Ron.
Yeah, I'm Ron Greer. I'm with Facilities Rehabilitation. We're the contractor that will be doing the work out on site. We've been working in the city of Austin for 20 some odd years and enjoy what we do, and looking forward to working with everybody and making this a successful project.
Thank you. And again, I'm Cynthia Miller. I'm with Austin Water's Public Information Office. So I'm here to help with community outreach and communication, and I'm really glad to be on this project with this team. So next slide, please. Tracy and I are just going to tell you a little bit about this Austin Water project. This is called the Gillis Street Pipeline Renewal Project because obviously it's over on Gillis Street. It's part of something called Renewing Austin. If you want to do the next slide. And Renewing Austin is a terrific program. This is an Austin Water effort that's been in place for several years now, and it's a program specifically dedicated to replacing deteriorating, aging infrastructure lines. And that's really just to shore up and strengthen our water infrastructure throughout the city. And that's part of making sure that we remain strong and reliable and prepared for the future. And at the next slide, Tracy's going to tell you about this project.
This project, we will install Austin Water will replace aging line along Gillis Street between KC Street through the intersection of Field Goal. Roughly 1,700 linear feet of wastewater and 1,674 linear feet of water now.
Next slide.
So this slide just shows the map of the project limits. Again, is on Gillis between KC and Field Goal. The blue line is water and the green line is wastewater line. Approximate location.
Okay.
Yeah. So what to expect? Yeah, what to expect during construction? We'll go to the next slide. All All right. So there's several phases to this type of construction. And the first most important thing to note is the crews are going to be in front of your house multiple times. We construct water and wastewater separately. They are in separate trenches, separated by a minimum distance. They're at different elevations. So we'll dig trenches for one, we'll make service connections, we'll backfill those same trenches. Even in the same day, we may dig them and then backfill them until we have a large enough volume. So certainly you can expect that over the course of the project, you will see crews in front of your house multiple times doing the prep work and excavation, then ultimately that installation. Once we get past installation and backfill, we'll have some temporary paving. It may look like a war zone for a couple of weeks there, but we'll do our best to keep those surfaces functional. And then once everything is tested and complete, then we'll repave the entire project area. The next slide. So yeah, so it starts with an open cut. The contractor will, well, it doesn't start with the open cut. The first thing you'll see environmental controls go up. So those will be protection on trees, protection of the existing stormwater. Things to protect your yard and protect the city stormwater infrastructure. You'll also see a large amount of paint marking on the street where utilities locations occur. And then once all of that's done, then the contractor will begin the excavation process. This work is all done through an open trench. They'll cut the narrowest trench that they can get away with for the depths that we'll be digging. And that's the work that's generally the noisiest and can sometimes be the slowest depending on how much rock or other challenges. Next. So during the open trench process, it is possible that they will be digging directly in front of your driveway. When that happens, you will still always have access to your home. It may just take a few minutes. The contractor will have metal plates on site that will allow them to very quickly move any debris that's in front and put a plate on your driveway so you can come and go. Ramiro, our inspector, will be out there much of the time, but even waving down just the equipment operators and indicating that you need to pull out of your driveway, and they'll start that fairly quick process to get you in and out. Additionally, trenches aren't going to be left open overnight. They're going to have those plates on them. Areas that we're working will have barricades to keep people and pets out of the work zone. And we would ask that during construction, and even more importantly, in the evenings and weekends after construction, that you would respect those safety precautions. So yeah, we're gonna make a mess in the street. Every day we're gonna do our best to clean it up. We're gonna clean it up at the end of each phase, the water and the wastewater phases. But then once all of those are complete and the wastewater lines have been tested for connectivity and the water lines have been pressure tested and brought online, and we're satisfied that everything is good and we don't need to dig it back up again, we will repave the entire limits of the project. Okay. So right now, the project is estimated at 10 months. We intend to start the first week in January. Work is generally Monday through Friday. We don't normally anticipate weekend work, but if it's needed to catch up on something or for an unexpected reason, we would give you as much notice as we can. Project working hours are 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Having worked with Ron and his team, they don't usually run those 12-hour days. They usually work a much more concise schedule each day. They are some of our fastest and best contractors for this type work. Okay, next slide. All right, Jameson.
All right. So most work will take place in the city's right-of-way, and in some cases, the right-of-way is located 10 to 15 feet behind the curb, in an area you may consider part of your lawn. It may be necessary to remove landscaping or other personal items before your residents can be connected to the new lines. Contractors work hard to avoid damage to landscaping features. Should features such as sprinkler systems be damaged, please call Construction Inspector Ramiro Hernandez, and his cell phone is there. It's 512-825-7863. The contractor may need to trim trees hanging over the city's right-of-way so construction equipment can pass through. Trimming decisions are made in consultation with a professional arborist. We will not close off an entire street, and at times traffic lanes may be closed. You will always have access to your home. For brief periods, driveway access may be limited. And as Matt said earlier, you can wave down the operator, one of the operators, and just say, hey, I'm leaving or I'm coming home, and they can quickly get you in. If there's no one around, don't hesitate to call Ramiro. Put your bins out as you typically do. If your bins are not picked up by 5 p.m., please call 311 and leave your bins in place in the street. At some point, your water service is going to be temporarily interrupted to connect your residents to a new line, but most likely just for a few hours on a single day. This is called a planned temporary outage. If you'll be impacted by a planned outage, we will post a flyer on your door 48 hours in advance. Ramiro will be doing this in advance. He'll go out door to door to each resident that's going to be impacted by the planned shutout. So, and he'll have his cell phone number on it again. So if you have any questions, feel free to call him. Keep some extra water on hand. Fill bathtubs, pitchers, and purchase bottled water. A water line can break unexpectedly, causing a water outage. This is called an emergency outage. When there is an emergency break, the project team stops everything. Along with extra water personnel, the team focuses on repairing the break as quickly as possible. Crews work hard to avoid causing an emergency break. However, due to the condition of existing pipes, breaks can occur. And when this happens, we have to call in Austin Water to come out, turn the valves, because the existing valves are owned by Austin Water, and the contractor is not allowed to operate the existing valves due to liability issues. So we have to call Austin Water to come out, and it could take some time depending on the day or time of day. So it could take a little time to get out there, but I promise you we're working to get it fixed as quick as possible.
Okay, there you go. So now we're at the questions portion. And as I said at the beginning, I really hope that there are questions. We've got directions on this slide for how to participate. Few ways. If you are on the phone, press *9 if you'd like to speak. And then once you hear a prompt, press *6 to unmute yourself. So we've actually had people do this. If you're on the telephone, press *9. And then once you hear a prompt, press *6. But you can put questions in the Q&A. You can raise your virtual hand, the little hand icon. All right, we've got a question in the Q&A. Let's see if I can pull it up here.
Yeah, so Jennifer asks, I have a flagstone walkway from the curb to my front door and some boulders in my landscape. How will these be impacted? So first and foremost, while the impacts in the street are fairly significant and run the entire length of the project area, 1,700 feet. At each one of those, both the water and the wastewater, there is a 90-degree T that comes from the main to your property, and only that area gets dug up. So wherever your current water meter box is at the front of your house, that actually typically designates where the edge of the right of way currently is. So we will dig to that. So if there is landscaping that is between that water meter and the curb, we will do everything we can to not damage it during the excavation process, and then put it back as close to original as we can. The wastewater lines are a little bit harder to find sometimes. New houses and current construction typically have a box similar to your water meter box, and when we are done, you will have a box like that where there's a city clean out. But as we work house by house, we have a rough idea of where those are. Our contractor will work to identify where the wastewater service from your house crosses the right of way headed towards the wastewater line, and so that is the limit of where we will excavate there. The wastewater tends to be a little bit deeper, so while we attempt to keep it to about a foot wide, 18-inch wide trench, it may be slightly wider depending on the depth to the wastewater and the soil. But again, same thing. We're going to do what we can to maintain all of the landscaping and put it back the way it was before we excavated. If we anticipate some significant interruption or disruption to your landscaping, we're going to come talk to those residents beforehand.
Matt, if I could, just Ron Greer. Jennifer, as far as the flagstone walkway, we would typically not need to get into that walkway unless, like Matt said, if we had difficulty finding the clean out at the property line. If we do, we would come talk to you and try to locate where the clean out comes out at the house. And we've got a camera we put in the line, and we can trace it down to where it gets to the property line. But in the event we had to do anything with the flagstone walkway, in the past, what we've done is remove those flagstone pieces, set them aside, and then put them back in place, hopefully in better condition or as good a condition as when we left. As far as the boulders in your landscaping, if any of that is in the way, we'll move them and we'll put them back where they were. We'll try to protect everything that's there and do as little damage as has to be, and then we will restore it to the condition it was prior to getting there. So we should be able to, we wouldn't expect to be damaging the walkway, and we'd be able to, if the boulders need to be moved, we move and put them back in place.
Jennifer, does that help? Do you have follow-ups to that? Please ask follow-ups if you have them. Well, good. Jennifer says thanks. She appreciates the responses. So good.
I will add one thing. The folks that attended or that are here, we really appreciate you making the time to join the call. We make a lot of effort to try to reach out to the neighborhoods to let them know these things are happening. But the number one piece of feedback we get once we get into the project is neighbors not having any idea that this is happening. And I understand people are busy; they don't check their mail. They've got a lot going on. But if you can certainly, encourage your neighbors and the folks that to check out the website. We have a really great email listserv that we send out updates regularly So that's at austintexas.gov/Gillis Pipe. Sign up for our notifications and encourage your neighbors to do the same. And they can find Ram's phone number. They can find my phone number there on the site. And certainly, reach out to us if you have any questions, comments, concerns.
Thank you. I'm glad you said that. And yeah, we'll show a screen also that you can screen capture with everyone's contact information on it. But I'm so glad you said that, Matt, because yes, if you all can help spread the word, that's really helpful. Lauren, do you want to flip it back to how to ask a question in case, I know why thank you for putting up the contacts page, but let's go back to how to ask a question in case someone wants to, or not. More questions. We like questions. You can put a question in the chat. You can raise your hand. You can put it in the Q&A. Any and all of the above. Does anybody have anything else that they want to share while we're here and thinking of it? Well, okay. If not, we're going to have to wrap it up. So going once, going twice. Lauren, you can put our contacts back up if that suits, but otherwise, I may have accidentally gotten you to kick us out. So as Matt said, our contact information is on the webpage, and you can just Google, Austin Water Gillis Pipe, and you'll find us. Great. There we are. Thank you, Lauren. So yeah, here you go. Lots of ways to get a hold of us. And we do encourage you to reach out. Okay, well, thank you to everyone who attended, and thank you everyone on the panel. And if that's it, we'll wrap it up and call it a night. Thank you again. So we'll hopefully see you out in the community. Good night.